Giant is hungry. Hey everybody, Bandicoot Commando here, and welcome back to Multiverses. Last time, I showed off some matches of Agent Smith. I'll get the hang of using him, but I'm still not entirely sure if I want him to be like one of my main characters I like to use. But today, we're going to use the Iron Giant, and we're going to do a few matches with him. Before we start, let me take a moment to say something. Loony difficulty is available, and oh, it lives up to its name. Even with my friend's help, it's hard. It is very hard. All I could say is that if you plan on wanting to get the remainder of these, good luck, because you'll need it. I'm going to keep trying, though, to see if I can, but I fully doubt it. I can only hope these skins will become available later for Gleamium. Alrighty, enough of that. Time to do some matches with the Giant. Alrighty, the Iron Giant. The Iron Giant is quite a beloved character. His history is a little unique for the fact that originally, the Iron Giant was actually a book. It was a children's book of sorts. Originally published by Ted Hughes. I believe that was, pretty sure that was his name, but hang on, I gotta make sure I get the source here. Yes, Ted Hughes novel, but it was called The Iron Man instead of The Iron Giant. So, um, the Iron Man book though was mostly about how this giant robot, where nobody knows where it came from, but presumably it came from space, merely just wants to be left alone in order to consume metal and, just be left alone and not bothered. But it takes a young boy, Hogarth, to convince the giant to be a better person, or at least be a defender. That way the people can have better opinion about it. It isn't until that Earth is visited by a space dragon creature that will threaten to destroy the world, and only the giant can stand up to it. In the end, the giant is able to successfully beat the dragon, not so much in combat, but in a challenge of endurance, where the two of them had to see how long one can stay in the sun before they either call it quits or die, and the giant barely survives. From there, the giant is revered as a hero. There was a sequel made called The Iron Woman, but this is going to be about the giant here. So, the original book came out way back in it was in the 60s, I think. I'm pretty sure it was in the 60s first. Yes, 1968 was when the book came out. Nearly 30 years later is when the movie The Iron Giant was made. The movie was directed by Brad Bird, who was basically a writer and director on several episodes of The Simpsons. Although this was during... Oh no, he was around early on with The Simpsons. I need to see exactly when. It seems he was... Yeah, it seems that he was around since, since its beginning, I guess. Anyway, Brad Bird would later go on to direct The Incredibles, Ratatouille, just to name a few movies. The movie was well received. It was critically received well, but it didn't really do well in the box office. But it did become a cult classic on home video. So, the Giant is a very beloved character, and the story is very well done. Now, let's get on with the Giant, with his moves and costumes and such. This default costume that he's wearing, even though it's his default, he only wore this kind of thing once in the movie, where in the movie, there's a scene where the Giant is playing with Hogarth, and the Giant really doesn't want to play the bad guy, so he is able to pick up an S to put on his chest and say that he's Superman. The Giant's obsession from Superman comes from Hogarth reading some comic books to him and teaching him who Superman is. As for his moves, his default attack, his neutral attack, is him biting into some metal, which comes from his scene in the movie where at the power station he ended up biting into a part of a tower. His side attack is him banging on a car, and if you let it finish, he'll then like sit on it. This comes from another scene in the movie where basically when at the scrapyard and allowed to eat what he wants, he takes a bite out of a car, but its alarm goes off, and in an attempt to get it to shut up, he tries banging on it and sitting on it, but that doesn't work until he throws it away. In fact, him throwing it is the basis of his up attack. His normal down attack is basically him planting, a piece of metal on the ground. Comes from a rather metric scene. Metric? Meme trick. Meme trick is the word because of meme. Where basically, look, if you gotta eat, there's scrap and art. If you gotta eat the scrap. What you have in your mouth is art! Yeah, I think you know what I mean by that. As for the air attacks, they're mostly original. Save for, save for his up and down attack in the air, which are kind of from the movie. In which it's when he discovers and learns how to fly. As for his specials, his neutral special is that he summons a small shield on him. This wasn't something that really happened in the movie, but he has an antenna that pops out of his head when he does it, and that's how he activates his repair mode in the movie. His side special is his grab. Just something that he tends to do in the movie, just grabbing onto characters and things. His up special is him spinning that car around, which comes from, again, a scene where he and Hogarth are playing, and Hogarth's riding in that car as he's spinning it around, and Hogarth learns the hard way how G-force works, basically. As for his down special, it's a cannonball, which comes from the rather famous, hilarious moment where he dives into the lake. As for the special ability, the Rage mode, that is basically what happened in the movie where the Giant, thinking that Hogarth is dead from the military attacking, remembers and unleashes its original destructive nature and protocol, and has a variety of alien weapons to use. All from different parts of the movie. But it's only the plasma cannon one that's from the movie. The other attacks he has are original. Ha ha ha. Let's see. That's the classic look. That's what the giant looks like without that S. I don't think there's really going to be much commentary for me to go on until we hit the next costume, because I went over everything else I needed to go over. So just, I can't really give any tips when it comes to playing characters because I'm no expert on these things. But if you want advice for the giant, at least, giant is mostly better for 2v2s, but if you're gonna do him solo like I'm doing, the trick really is to mostly rely on, try to rely on your side attack. In the air, that is. Like, rely on your side air and your down air. You want to burn the opponent. Having them ignited and burning a bit, any little damage they get, it will help in the long run. Always use the neutral triangle to break out of a combo, provided that you both have enough bolts. And, at the same time, provided that you haven't used it already. Use the side special, the side air special, when coming in hot. That way it can do some good damage. When it comes to rage mode, you want to rely on the missiles and the plasma shot, but you also want to use the kick attack and the stomp attack. I wasn't able to do the stomp that time. If you want to mostly rely more on the rage mode, there's a signature perk that can do that for you. But I'd rather rely more on the fire because, again, every little bit of damage they take from burning helps out a lot. Now, a few things for 2v2s. And if you or your partner is the giant. For starters, the giant can act as a platform. And second, when the giant is in rage mode, your partner, your teammate, can pilot the giant. And from there, they can control a crosshair and shoot their own little bullets until it wears off. All in all, the giant is very surprisingly good. One thing you should worry about, though, is what I did there, really, is be careful when you're out and trying to recover. The giant does not have proper jumping. He only has that ability to fly, and you have limited usage of using his flight until it runs out. Plus, you're going to want to use most of that for your air attacks anyway. See? I may be at 50, but that burning every little tiny bit of damage helps. That's another thing with the giant, too. As you might have noticed, is that the giant cannot use items. Any items he picks up, be it basketballs, sandwiches, or even the Joker's balloon, the giant will just simply eat them. Although, I do think, I might be wrong, I do think the giant can either still ride Gizmo's car, or he'll eat it. I think he can still ride it. I haven't seen or tried it for myself, but I hope he could still ride it, because it's just a funny image that the giant can just drive this tiny little toy car. See, this guy thinks he can... Oh, okay, never mind. There we go. It was either this guy or another guy who thought they could be funny. Well, not so much as funny, but think they can be smart by hiding near the basket hoops there to act as a bit of a shield. That said, though, the only downside to the giant is, other than what I just said with items and all of that, another would technically be his size, because it makes him a very easy target and very combo heavy for people to wail on. There's also the fact that the giant's attacks are not as damaging as you think they are. They do decent damage, yes, but they're just not very damaging, especially for a tank. And also, despite his size, the giant lacks armor for the most part. Only his neutral special gives him a form of armor, and his side special. But you can mitigate that with perks. Oh yeah, I forgot. The neutral special not only acts as a way to get opponents off you, but it also grants you gray health, which is very nice to have. Try not to really use the giant's dash attack. Mostly because it's got a big wind up and it's easy to tell. But it's good to use in 2v2s if your partner has them distracted. Yoink! Always do that with the side. Throw them. Alright, yep, there's the next costume. The beach costume of the giant. Completely original to the game and just a very silly, goofy costume is all. I remember seeing this in the beta and just, yeah. It's a very silly costume and I'm glad that they're willing to go that route to give characters silly costumes. Okay, yeah, I hate what this Steven player does. Steven reacts too quickly using that up attack. Needs to be slightly nerfed.
Need a shield? I'm back! I'm back! Woo!
Get up, me. Get up. Oh yeah, now I remember. I had a network disconnection. Isn't that lovely? I come back here to take on a completely different person and pretty sure I lost this fight. People think they're so cool when they use Batman Who Laughs. They're only cool if you actually know the character.
Scratchy. You thought that was my end? You're a bigger joke than I thought. plan for that.
Yeet. Again, every time you use that side, for the most part, just throw them. It's better to throw them, especially once they're weakened. I don't remember if I did win this or not. I don't think I did.
Got a plan for that.
I try to usually remember, like, if I win these fights or not. I guess I did. I thought I lost that fight.
Put up your dukes, everyone.
Didn't want to take him on again, so I took on a different person. Shark Hat Shark Hat Giant. It was Shark Week. Mind if I ask, when did Shark Week originate? Like, I know it was like a mid-2010s sort of thing, or it might have been around longer than that, but I'm pretty sure it started around in the 2010s, but what started it? Like, the only thing I could figure that started it might have been like the Sharknado. The fact that there's a new ring out effect with the splat thing, because I don't think that's part of the Kerpow. This might have been the one that I lost.
Yes, exactly. Like that.
Yeah, kick to the face. Solid kick. Oh yeah, the up special also can destroy and reflect projectiles. Guess I did win this one. Decided to indulge him in a rematch. I'm pretty sure this one I lost. Yeah, I lost it. Not that it matters, though.
I'ma make you mine.
And now I'm using the final giant skin that I have. I think I mentioned this just a bit later, but I talk about how, like, it's a little sad that I won't be able to show off the Matrix code skin for the giant, but I'm getting a little close to, I'll get close to that one. I'm not exactly halfway there with it yet, but I will be. Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's nothing else to say with the giant. I think I've said all I can, so enjoy the rest of this fight.
I guess it's time to increase my power level. Wow, that was pretty good. Guess I better step it up.
Well, there you have it, people. My matches with the Iron Giant. A pretty good character he is, very heroic, and a nice cult classic of a movie he came from. So glad I was able to watch that in my childhood. Alright, that'll do for this episode of Multiverses. Join me next time as the next fighter of interest will be Jake the Dog and Finn the Human, the fun that never ends, adventure time. Yeah, Jake is next on the list here. Alrighty, so that is it, and I will see you guys next time.